Hello everybody and welcome back to the Hunter Classic. We are out here today in my main trophy lodge, technically on Hemmeldal, but we're going to be going through my main lodge animals today. I've created an event lodge and shuffled some stuff around since the last time we were in here, but we are going to be just kind of going through what I have in this main lodge here today as a sort of end of year wrap up. Now technically my channel's birthday was yesterday, December 22nd. Today is December 23rd, and this video will come out tomorrow, December 24th. Now, even though yesterday was technically my channel's birthday, my first video wasn't posted until February 23rd of 2023. So we are exactly 2 months shy of my full year on YouTube of content, but let's just get started. So right out the gate, I have a 178 whitetail deer from Whiteheart Island. He is not my biggest whitetail. I have mentioned this before. My largest whitetail is a 188. I just forgot to tax it. That's it. So this is the biggest whitetail that I have taxidermized. We have my 116 non-typical, my only non-typical from Red Feather Falls. Back in April of this year. This guy was in June. I also have a piebald 57 scoring whitetail deer from Loggers Point back from May. So these are all from 3 different months, but I'm really happy with the way that my whitetail section looks in this lodge right now. And hopefully we can improve and get more non-typicals, more rares, bigger trophies in general. And I'll remember to taxidermize them, ideally. So moving on, we have this lovely black bear. He is a 21.99 from Red Feather Falls in March of this past year. He is my biggest black bear so far. Unfortunately, I don't remember which trophies I have on stream, which trophies I had in videos, and which ones I had off stream, but hopefully our future ones will be in videos. And I'll be able to put those in the description. So this is a 66 turkey from Whiteheart Island that was in June of this year, and he is my biggest so far. I might have some bigger ones in the event lodge, but he's my biggest common turkey so far. Up over here, we have a puma skull on the mantle. It is decorated style right now, but it's a 16.03 from April 6th. This is from the April Fool's / Easter missions. So he was my first puma for that, and he was over 16, which was really, really incredible. This turkey was from that same kind of section of time. Now over here we have my first ever snow goose that I got off of White Rime Ridge. I had logged into the hunt one day, and I don't have a snow goose set up at all. I don't have decoys, I don't have a collar, I don't have nothing like that. And these guys were just like spawned in down on the lake feeding, the frozen lake, and I was just excited to have my first ever snow goose. It's a little empty over here. So we're going to head this side to go through my fuller wall, but we're going to go up the stairs first. That way you guys get a little bit of a better view over this. So give me 1 second. So we're going to go top down, and then we're going to go from right to left. So we've got this feral hog. It's a piebald. This was from February 1st, so before I started making YouTube content. It's an 826. Not huge, but it's pretty good size, and the piebald is not rare for the feral hogs. I didn't know at the time. I was still very new to both content creation, obviously, and also the game. I had only started playing it in January, where this Roosevelt elk was. So this is the decorated style skull. He's a 347 from Whiteheart Island. I do remember this hunt, and I could tell you exactly where he was from if we go to that map in the future. So we have this 1000 plus feral hog from Loggers Point. He was from June, and you'll notice as we go along, the June 3rd to June 10th, I had a lot of trophies added to my lodge. This guy's got some different upper tusks on each side, and I think that's really cool. And not only that, he was 1000 plus. Just a common, not a piebald, but still a really cool trophy to have from Loggers Point. Up next is my 641 reindeer. He is my biggest to date still. This was from May of this year and he was part of the flip-flop missions, I believe, where you had to get a 500 plus scoring reindeer. I had tracked him for like an hour, but he kept calling but not responding to the caller, and I was chasing after him basically, and then we finally got him, and he had all 4 shovels, nothing busted. It was just an incredible time, and that's probably one of my favorite hunts on Hemmeldal. But next we've got my 220 plus moose from White Rime Ridge. Now the funny thing about this moose is about 20 minutes prior, I had actually gotten a just over 200 scoring moose, and I didn't end up taxing that because I was like, I know they get bigger, and I don't want this in my lodge if I'm gonna immediately after this get something bigger, you know? So we waited, and 20 minutes later I had a 220 show up, and I was like, that's the one. That one's going to my lodge, 100%. And I'm really glad. I'm really glad with the way that turned out. Up next I have a 265 water buffalo. That June 10th window strikes again. This was one of my first hunts over on Picayune Bay with Gun Hub Gaming, and I was learning how to, use the pulsar bow and like time it with them charging me, and it was terrifying but like a really fun time at the same time. It was fantastic. And if you can see that bantang there over in the corner, I think he's from the same day. So I've got a common blue 13.7 Arctic Fox, White Rime Ridge. It's the only map they're on, but this is my first and still only blue Arctic Fox. Next, I have a 15.88 decorated style wolf skull from Timber Gold Trails from 6.5. So he was a pretty early trip out onto Timber Gold Trails. Again, in that really, really cool week where I got a lot of trophies. I have a 9.1 Bobcat from White Hart Island. I don't think he's like a trophy, but he was still a nice one. From April, I have this 54 scoring turkey. Again, a couple of months before I had this much larger 66. So at the time, I decided I'm going to save my biggest one. Now I have the star of the show, in my opinion. My 321 piebald Rocky Mountain elk from Timber Gold Trails. April 1st was my first ever hunt on Timber Gold Trails, and he was the second ever Rocky Mountain elk I harvested. I don't know how it gets cooler than that. I think he's going to be like the top piece in this lodge for a long time. So that water buffalo and this bantang were in fact from the same hunt on 610. He's a 151 bantang. Next I have my 411 Rocky Mountain elk from April 20th, and now he was from me just sitting in my tree stand and editing other videos, and he had come up and I was just shooting stuff and letting it lay until nothing else would come in, and he was a really, really cool surprise to get to just pick up and have him be as big as he was. I didn't know enough yet, but next I have my 112 Sitka deer. This guy was leaderboards. This is from September 6th of this year. Now they have entered a new season now, so he's no longer on the leaderboards, but at the time I believe he was first or second. But I think by the end of the season he was down at like 8th place or something like that. But he was really, really cool to get at the time. Very proud of him. Next up above him, I have 2 albino does, a mule deer and a whitetail deer, and if you'll notice, they're from the same date, 6/7 and 6/7. The mule deer came first. She was like shortly after a stream had ended, but I didn't want to end the hunt on the map. I was still having fun. So we had like raided out, and then she showed up, and it was so cool. And then later that day, like really late at night, I got this albino whitetail deer. Up next up here, I have a 161 blacktail deer from White Hart Island, even though I thought it was Red Feather Falls, but I was wrong. Can't wait to improve that guy. I have a 196 axis deer up here. and a 212 mule deer. The mule deer I thought was from Timber Gold, but it turns out I guess it's Loggers Point. It's strange. And then up at the top there, an 81 scoring piebald Roosevelt elk from 615 on White Hart Island. Now, he's pretty on brand for the other whitetail piebald that I have. Well, I guess the only whitetail piebald, but a very small score. But they are, you know, different maps, because the other guy was from Loggers Point, this guy was from White Hart Island, but still, my piebalds are typically small, minus, you know, the gem of the lodge, that lovely, lovely 300 plus Rocky Mountain elk. But I'm really excited with how 2023 went for me in Classic. I can't wait to see how 2024 goes. I would love to hear about your guys' hunting stories in Classic, in real life, in any of the other games. Please leave comments. Tell me about your coolest stuff in your lodges. I want to know what scores you have, what, you know, non-typicals, rares, anything like that. I'd love to hear it. So, to anybody who plays this game or just hangs out in my channels, happy 2023 and Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I appreciate you hanging out with me today. Happy hunting. And I'll see you next time. Bye.